I'm back here at New College of Florida. Back here because there's more to this story that needs to be told. I believe that New College of Florida is a microcosm of the things that are happening within our nation. And we need to avoid just taking the narrative from the media. We need to avoid just being overly simplistic about what happened here. We could also use my time at New College of Florida as an example, as an indicator of how I would respond in Congress. The takeaway is the refusal to be intimidated and coerced into falling into a specific political faction. So that's what happened here, and I'd like to tell the rest of that story.
I find Charles Barkley one of the most authentic, interesting, insightful people in the United States of America, sports commentary or not. And yesterday during the NCAA tournament, he said this. He said, I think most white people and black people are great people. I really believe that in my heart, but I think our system is set up where politicians, whether or not they're Republicans or Democrats, are designed to make us not like each other so they can keep their grasp of money and power. They divide and conquer. Your thoughts?
So my story at New College of Florida really starts with Bob Allen. Bob Allen, his son, was enrolled in the tennis program at my school, Inspiration Academy. Bob Allen was also an NCF alum and a former trustee at New College. We met and discussed education, and then Bob Allen encouraged me to apply. And so I did. I applied for the position and went through the process. And Bob Allen was encouraging and coaching me through the process, and he was excited about my nomination. And he was really excited, as somebody that truly loves New College of Florida, at the changes that would be possible after the trustees were announced. Then, after my nomination by Governor DeSantis, I joined the Board of Trustees and took the official oath. I pledged myself to the people of Florida, and I made the oath to the Constitution. I did not align myself to any political party or individual, including Governor DeSantis or Bob Allen. After I was appointed, in the firestorm of media attention, Bob Allen's role shifted. He began to evolve into a handler rather than just a guide during my application process. His advice, which came off at first as political strategy, morphed into an attempt to direct my actions and speech. Now, this clearly conflicted with my oath to serve the taxpayers of Florida. I knew my oath, and I was going to do that purpose. I was appointed for the people, to engage in open dialogue so that we, the people, could witness our disagreements and participate in the debate and come together to further truth and liberty. Despite our intense discussions, Bob Allen did not agree. But he wasn't the only one. What I want you to see is that it wasn't my opinions that created the friction. We had a supermajority of conservative trustees, supported by a conservative governor, and a supermajority in the House and Senate of Florida. We all agreed on most things. The trustees and I were unified against the woke institution and the indoctrination that was happening there at New College of Florida. But it wasn't what we intended to do, but it was the how that revealed the fractures between we the people and the ruling establishment. As soon as I chose to make these discussions public, I began to see more pressure and more attempts to control me. My goal was simple. I wanted to foster an open dialogue within the Board of Trustees. Why? In order to set a precedent for transparency that could serve as a model for educational reform nationwide. This would help counter the indoctrination found in woke institutions across the country. Raising up New College of Florida has the blueprint and set a precedent for taking back American institutions. I have constantly reminded myself that I should never love my position more than my purpose. And I think that's an axiom that we should all live by. That makes us unleverageable. I continued to push for open dialogue. I tweeted that trans was a mental disorder. I knew this was intensely controversial. And if you were just listening to the media, that would have been the end of the story. Shortly after I tweeted out that trans was a mental disorder, I went on campus, and I was met by the leader of the trans community, in my opinion, the most boisterous student named Alaska Miller. He screamed out to me, "I've got some things to say to you. Where do you get off saying things like trans is a mental disorder?" Already, the aggressive poison was at work in Alaska. This poison already flowed through the student body long before my arrival. The students were aggressive and full of hate. It was no surprise as to why I also received a death threat early on. The system wanted to pit us against one another, avoid the difficult conversation, alienate and dehumanize each other. But I responded differently. I invited Alaska Miller to join me at the table to have lunch. I shared with him that I believed everybody is made in the image of God with infinite value. I asked questions, I listened, and calmly discussed my views. The conversation quickly de-escalated. And what I found was students that were craving to be listened to. We developed friendships that I didn't think were possible at all.
This is the key, having these uncomfortable conversations, but having them with dignity for the opposing side, with love, care, and respect. This is what I did with Alaska, and this is what I did with numerous students there at New College of Florida. The political class of bureaucrats wants you to believe that it's impossible for us to get along. But my experience at New College of Florida showed that it was possible, and in fact necessary, to heal the divisions that divide us. The establishment wanted to hold me back from having these discussions. I found that the same poison that existed in the woke mindset also exists in the current political classes of bureaucrats. We need to fight against that. We need to come together. And I don't think I could say it any better than one of New College of Florida's own residents here in this clip.
It's of the people, by the people, for the people, we the people, not of the party, by the party, for the party, or of the corporation, by the corporation, for the corporation.
That's right.
And that's what has really kind of, led us to this point of peak centralization and grouping into so many different identities. But when you have all these different identity buckets, then the identities end up clashing because, oh, I'm part of this bucket, so I'm not part of your bucket. So all of a sudden, I'm going to see you not as a human heart-beating, soul-conscious being.
And that's just that is a great way to divide people and control people.
So now after all these threats, this intimidation, this coercion to be a part of a political machinery, how could I possibly do that, considering that the motto of the school is to be a free thinker, a risk taker, and a trailblazer? I simply couldn't do it because the truth does not need to hide. The truth stands firm, and we don't need the nanny state to adjudicate our differences. We are adults, we are Americans, we can disagree, and we can work through our differences.
At this point, I had been a trustee for 4 months. The Democrats invited me to testify before their committee to confirm me as a trustee. And here was the next opportunity to invite discussion and not shy away from the truth. Yet Bob Allen tried to prevent this necessary dialogue. He told all the trustees that nobody is going and we can just simply ignore the Democrats. Did you catch that? Ignore. So I was stuck in a difficult position. If I didn't go, I would stand against the oath, against the Constitution, against we the people, against what's necessary for the healing to take place. But if I did go, I would be kicked to the curb and removed from my position, no longer able to help.
You are recognized, sir. Give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself to the committee. Thank you for being here today as a part of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation, Senator Wolski, and thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and the committee. In my previous technology and software business, one of the businesses was called 3T Systems, which stands for Truth, Trust, and Teamwork. So there's been a mindset that I've had that I found to be most effective, that if we communicate the truth, no matter how difficult that truth might be, even with people that we disagree with, we're going to be able to develop an environment of trust. And once we have an environment of trust, we'll actually be able to work together as a team.
Can you share with us first your truths that may have caused concern, what those truths are?
I have to start with the truth that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. Everything else comes from there, articulated in the Bible.
The public university is not supposed to teach religion unless one chooses to take a course in religion. And there are many people who don't believe in Jesus Christ, are atheists. There are quite a few other religions, including my own, that do not follow Jesus Christ. So how are you going to be a trustee over thousands of students and faculty and just be completely focused on your religion?
Mr. Speir, was your point in what you said earlier that that's just a founding principle that helps guide you as an individual, not so much that you're teaching that in the college?
Yeah. definitely.
Okay, just for clarification.
Okay, so to clarify, will your religious leanings affect the way you are a trustee at this university?
Mr. Speir.
My religious leanings affect everything. That's my life.
Okay, so
In many people's lives, and I would say I suppose it's your life as well. It affects everything. So our beliefs of the foundation of why we're here, they affect everything. And to pretend that they don't is foolish, in my opinion.
how would you separate out your religious beliefs in a public setting, such as a public university that is paid for by the state, and not hurt those who don't believe in the same religion as you?
That's a great question. The same way that I would like the religion of wokeism to respect me by not forcing pledges of fealty and avoiding dogmatic teachings. I would ask, am I not able to, as a follower of Jesus, and to serve? Do I not have a place as a trustee at a public university?
A month or so later, we all received news that we had been confirmed. A couple days after that, I was called by Governor DeSantis' office and told that the Senate had left my name off of the list that was confirmed. So I wasn't not confirmed, I wasn't voted on, I was just simply left off the list by the leadership within the Senate. Once again, the political machinery had failed to have a discussion even about whether I would be confirmed or not, just simply left off the list. So how did this happen, especially when there's a supermajority of Republicans in the Senate? Unfortunately, a lot of politics are happening in shadows and secrecy. Good government is transparent, honest, and gives room for political discourse.
The dynamic situation here at New College of Florida and the challenges that have confronted New College of Florida are indicative of the same challenges that we have as a nation, and the same challenges that need to be addressed directly, boldly, and courageously in Washington, D.C. What's needed is somebody who will listen to the other side, to all sides, somebody that actually cares, somebody that is going to be a representative voice of we the people in Washington, D.C.